We are certainly gearing up for the draft, but we've also geared up for this news, the potential return of former Patriots, soon-to-be former Patriots tight end Rob Gronkowski, apparently being traded to Tampa Bay, 7th-round pick. The Patriots receive a 4th-round pick in return, and of course, the most notable of that is that he will reunite with Tom Brady, the only quarterback he's played with. And Jeff Darlington, I asked you before, as you join us tonight, if you saw this coming, and you said, I kind of did. Tell me why.
Look, let me preface it by saying the only surprise I have here is that the New England Patriots seemingly were able to, or decided they were willing to let Rob Gronkowski essentially out of his contract in New England to join Tom Brady in Tampa. Rob Gronkowski and Tom Brady have a relationship like few others in all of sports. These guys are very close on and off the field. They just have this kinship, this friendship that definitely transcends just football. Now, to Tom Brady, he always wanted Rob Gronkowski wherever he ended up. And Gronkowski, I think, was always going to be open to it, but never really necessarily thought it was going to be overly realistic. Now we get to the point where all of a sudden the compensation reached a point where the Patriots were willing to do so. And by allowing him to go, then it became the no-brainer. And one thing that we should really point out here, I think that there was maybe a perhaps misinterpreted narrative when Rob Gronkowski originally retired, that it was all due to physical fatigue, that his body had just broken down to the point where he couldn't play football anymore. And to a degree, there was some truth to that. But mental fatigue was always the big reason why Gronkowski was ultimately done with football. He was done with the Patriot way. He was tired of, quite honestly, playing in that very structured Patriot system. Not necessarily a knock on the Patriots, just the way Gronkowski felt. So now, if he can reinvigorate his career in a place that is far more laid back, yeah, that was when this became truly a no-brainer.
Well, look, I think you're right. I do always think we have to caveat that by saying, while incredibly intense, the Patriot way has yielded a lot of success, and it did help make both of these players, in part, who they are. So there's no question about that. But what do you think in particular, Jeff, is appealing about a fresh start for Gronk, having taken a break, having relieved some of that mental fatigue, as you referenced? I know he wanted to be reunited with Tom. Right. That's clear. But what else is there about this?
That's it.
That's it. Totally and completely.
I mean, that's it.
Okay.
Quite honestly, that's it. It is about Tom Brady. He wasn't going to play for another team other than playing for Tom Brady. Again, these guys are so close. Certainly it helps the fact that where Tom Brady ended up is a system and a culture that plays into Gronkowski's mindset to a degree that should make this incredibly fun. One thing we should also remember in that final year with the Patriots, Gronkowski wasn't the same dominant tight end that we had come to see. Now, seemingly some rest, both physically and mentally, should help him get back to that place. But we should leave some open-ended question there to see if Gronkowski can be the same guy. But by all means, this is about Tom Brady, and perhaps secondary but also welcomed is the fact that Bruce Arians runs a system and a culture that blows my mind to think about how much fun this will be to see Gronkowski playing for a guy like Bruce Arians.
Well, I'm already looking for the post-game press conferences with Bruce Arians, Rob Gronkowski. I mean, I can barely wait. And when you think about it, there really is there's a lot of land between the way Bill Belichick does and Bruce Arians does things. It doesn't make one right or wrong, but they're just different in the way they approach things. So
no, and that's certainly important to point out, Wendy, the fact that, look, when I say this, I realize it's interpreted perhaps as a knock on the Patriots, and it worked for 6 Super Bowls. Tom Brady even was ultimately tired of it, wanted to do something different, wanted a fresh start, to be reinvigorated as well. But that doesn't mean that any of them discount what they were able to do in that structure. It eventually just wears on guys, and in this case, for Rob Gronkowski, a guy who was so fun-loving, so mentally stimulating on a number of levels, this is something that just I feel like ultimately made sense and was seemingly actually inevitable.
Wow. All right, Jeff Darlington, thank you very much. We continue to follow the story that Rob Gronkowski will soon be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, along with former Patriots quarterback Tom Brady.
Patriots select Rob Gronkowski.
Seen him on draft day.